Hey guys, today we're going to be using some toilet paper tubes, the rolls from the center, the cardboard tubes, to make some little critters. You can do any animal you want, or if you want to do a person, do a person. This was kind of the picture that inspired me. This one has some examples. So just however you want to do it, whatever critter you want to do. So I tried a monkey so far. So the way it'll work is you're gonna draw your animal, cut it out. Now for the monkey, I decided to leave the tail. Like I kind of drew in the back up what would be like for a tail, which actually looks pretty cool like this, but it was kind of hard to cut. So just kind of keep that in mind. I had to try 2 different pairs of scissors. So I was originally using like adult size scissors, but it's kind of hard to cut small areas in the tube because it's only so big. So then I ended up using like kid size scissors, which didn't cut through it as well, but it was easier to fit in it. So you might just have to play with the scissors you have. Well, don't play with them, but try them out to figure out which is going to work. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip the screen to document camera. So once again, here's our little monkey, one that's already finished. But we're gonna do another one. So in those examples, there was like cats, owls, pandas. You could do a dog, you could do a penguin, an alligator, any sort of critter, animal you want. So I start with pencil, and then I trace the Sharpie, and then I cut. If you don't have Sharpie, you could use another marker. If you don't have pencil, you could try pen. However you want to try to do this. I have quite a few of these because I save them to recycle. Hopefully you do too. So you want to try to have the head sit towards the top. Most animals you can kind of start with, I don't know how well this is going to show up actually. You can kind of see that. Let's see. It's kind of hard to draw dark because it's kind of hard to draw on here at all. Can you see that oval? I'll go ahead and use Sharpie so you guys can see it. Start with pencil though, because it is hard to draw in. So if you mess up, obviously you want to be able to kind of erase it. So try pencil first. I'll go ahead and do Sharpie so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So most animals, once again, you can kind of start with an oval head. And then from there, you could add on ears. You might do it a little bit lower so you have room for ears. I didn't need very much room for ears if they were like on the top of the head, like a rabbit or something, or a cat. But kind of start with the head, and then the body will come down. Now, you're going to leave a little bit on the back. That way these stand. And if you want to make that part of the animal, you can, or you could just do like a strip across the back. So I'm just going to do a super general. So this was the edge of my head. So I'm going to come out and then just curve down and then draw a line down. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So this is going to start out super blank, mine. If you already know what you want to make, start making it look like that. But if you don't, you could start this way. And then from there, you could turn it into a person, an animal. You can decide from there what you want it to look like. I could just turn this into a person. Before I forget, I'm going to show you. So in the back, just draw a line to connect over. If you want to do a tail sticking up, that's how I did the back of the monkey. So instead of just doing a straight line, I kind of did a line, did the curve up to be the tail, and then back down, and then back to the other side. If you're not going to have a tail or anything sticking up, though, just like kind of do a line across so you know where to cut, so it'll still stand. You could do it a little bit lower than what I did. You just want to make sure you leave some across the back. I mean, you could probably cut it completely off and it'll stand, but that just gives it a little extra support if you leave at least a little bit here at the bottom. So let me think. Maybe I'll do. I'll just do a bear. I'm gonna do a curved ear here, curved ear here, I'm going to do a circle, bottom middle of the face, upside down triangle for bear nose, and I'm going to go ahead and color it in since I'm already using Sharpie. If you're using pencil, draw first, and then you can go back and add details. Get my bear eyes. And it is hard to draw on the cardboard. So if you mess up, don't get discouraged. It's difficult to draw on this because it's curved and it's yeah, you have to hold it because otherwise it's just gonna roll while you're trying to draw. So you kind of have to hold it in place on top of it being curved. So don't be discouraged. It's not that easy to draw. So actually, I'm gonna have the little bear, how his little arms go in front. Together like that. And give him a lighter tummy area. So you could do this a couple different ways. The monkey I just had kind of cut off. I didn't add like where legs or something would be. If you were doing some sort of like a cat or dog, you could have their little paws sitting down here, or like a frog, have their feet. You could already just have like where the little like feet or whatever would sit. I don't know if that quite makes sense for the bear, but I'll do it so you kind of have an idea. So that would be like where the little feet would be. You could add like where the little toes would sit, however you want to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna leave my bear just like that, and then I'm gonna start cutting. Now you could always paint these if you want these different colors, or color them with marker. I don't know if colored pencil would show up. Probably depends on what color. So this is black color pencil. So what color and how hard you push. If you want to try to color it that way, you can do that too. So once again, this is pretty hard to cut out. Start with the top of the head. Real fast, I'm going to add in the inside of the ears. Start with the top of the head, and then from there, work your way down and then around the back. Try to cut as close as you can to that line. But if you cut a little bit outside of it, that's fine. Just try not to cut inside because then you'll cut off your what you already drew. So like, see when I get to here, it's like really hard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut all the way down to that band and then cut over. So I cut down that middle and then over. And then I'm gonna work on cutting my way back up instead of trying to get my scissors in that little point right there. So feel free to just cut out areas as you get to them. You could always, once you have less in the way, go back to cut out more. So since I already started back here, I'm gonna go ahead and try to keep your scissors pointed away from you and try to make sure you're paying attention to where your fingers are. Since this is a roll, sometimes you like kind of forget they're on the opposite side. Just make sure you're practicing scissor safety. Okay, I don't want you to accidentally hurt yourselves trying to cut this. And if you need help, feel free to ask an older brother or sister or cousin or mom, dad, and uncle to help you cut these if you can't get it by yourself, because the cardboard's a lot harder to cut than just regular paper. So once again, it's kind of hard to get my scissors all the way in there, so I'm gonna actually come back down here and work my way back up. Or something else you can do is just cut from the side over, and so that gets rid of that part, and then it'll be easier to cut this part. So feel free, like, if you end up with a billion little pieces from cutting just a little bit at a time, that's fine, because it just makes sure that you're not messing up your cardboard critter here. That is kind of how it's gonna work. So once again, you could probably cut off the whole back of that, and then that would just be the front. I might try that with this just so we can see, but if you want it to stand really well on its own, at least leave a little back here. Like, you could leave a lot less than that if you wanted to cut further down. I cut further down on both sides and then across. I'm gonna cut down in the middle too, just so I don't have as far to go. Or you could probably just fold these in. But But if you wanted it lower in the back, like just like a tiny bit, then you could do that. So I think I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna stop sharing my document camera so you can see from the front. So I'm just gonna tilt you down, I think. So this would be able to stand, right, if we leave that in the back. I'm gonna try if we cut, so see, they would stand on the table. But I'm gonna see if we cut the back completely off of this, if it'll still stand, because we do have some of this curve already to it. So actually, I'm gonna try that. And if it does work and you'd rather do that, then you can do that. Okay, so I completely cut off the back. So, I mean, in that case, you probably could draw one on both sides. So you could draw one like this side and one on this side, and then just cut them apart because look, it's still standing. So if you don't have as many toilet paper rolls, maybe do that. So one on this side and then one on the opposite side. So draw one at a time. And it's okay if they kind of touch on the sides. So I'm gonna get really close. I think it should still work just fine. So I'm doing a cat on this side. So the way I talked about with the paws at the bottom, so it would just kind of be like this. You could always do a little paws like that, like the back paws, however you want to try to show the little paws. I'm gonna draw it. Maybe the tail sticks up on the side. Cat. Oh, that was a funny looking tail. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly cut these apart so you can kind of see what I'm saying. So if you don't have as many, you could do one on each side, and then that'll give you kind of two to have. So if I cut these apart, they'd be like that. And then I could go around and cut out the edges to make these look the way that they're supposed to. So I'm not practicing scissor safety. Do you see this? I keep putting my scissor towards me, and then you see how weird my arm's going? It's not what you should do. So see, if I cut this way away from me, my arm isn't doing anything weird. It's just like normal in front of me, which makes it so much easier. There, so there's a little kitty cat. This is the one that has the back. These are the ones that don't. And they're still standing. Last one. And there's our penguin, our whole little troop of our little critters. So you can make as many as you want. It was kind of convenient knowing that you could just do half of the tube. So that means you could do 2 at a time. So if you don't have as many tubes, then you could still make at least 2 as long as you have 1 tube. But they're pretty cool, pretty fun. Once again, you can color them. Now you could play with them. If you leave the back high, you could use them maybe to like put stuff in. You can't see this again. But if you imagine like the tube, right, could hold stuff. So if you leave like a back high in the back, you could put like maybe pencils or something in it. So just however you want to use these. Have fun, be creative. Doesn't use too many materials, so hopefully you can make some, and I will put a project on Artsonia called Cardboard Tube Critters or something like that. And you could share what you make with me on Artsonia. Look forward to seeing them. Thanks, guys. Bye.